They said the mission was impossible, not in theory, in outcome. No one came back. First, the Merrick Collective tried it. 50,000 soldiers, state-of-the-art bio-armor, neural-linked hive combat strategy. Not a single transmission after hour 6. Next came the Xi'an. Tech-heavy bastards. Cloaking fields, sub-reality warping, predictive AI. They vanished without even triggering the distress beacon. One by one, the strongest empires stepped up. And every damn one got chewed up and spit out. So when Command turned their cold eyes to Earth, nobody expected a yes. But we gave it anyway. Not because we thought we'd survive, because we're too damn stubborn to let the universe label us cowards. I was there the day we were briefed. Low-lit steel room, concrete mines, everyone dead silent except for the buzzing of the old ventilation. Captain Bram took center. A man carved from bone and callus, not muscle, not metals, just pressure and pain. He glanced at each of us like we were already ghosts. "You've seen the footage," he said. We had. But they made us watch again. Static, then a Merrick soldier screaming, not from injury, from something else, something deeper, something that made his kind, a species born in planetary war pits, beg for death. Then silence. A Xi'an drone, polished chrome, whispering its last AI logs. No light, no logic, no physics, only thought. It knows. It listens. And then, darkness. "Any of you want to walk out?" Bram said, pointing to the bolted door. "You'll get no shame from me." No one moved. Why? Because we were the last ones left, and somewhere deep down, even in the most broken of us, was a quiet voice that said, "If this is hell, then let us be the devils who walk it." We were 120 men, no aliens, no synthetics, just humans, ragged, angry, and unfinished. I remember Bishop. Big man, used to break metal doors with his bare fists. He looked calm. Too calm. "What if we win?" he said, like it wasn't a joke. And that's when I realized something no one wanted to admit. We weren't just walking in to die. We were walking in to prove them all wrong. 2 days later, we boarded the Skelter. No ceremony, no speeches, just boots hitting steel. The galaxy didn't send us heroes. It sent what was left. The forgotten, the dishonorably discharged, the reckless, the kind of men who'd lost everything and had nothing left to fear. I was one of them. Name's Rig. Ex-mechanic. Kicked out of Earth Fleet for decking an officer who let my squad die during a rescue op. They said I was too emotional. Maybe I was. But I still knew how to fix a plasma railgun mid-fight and wire explosives while bleeding out. They needed us now. The mission was simple on paper. Enter the Abyss Zone. Find out what's killing everyone. End it if possible. Survive if lucky. Except luck doesn't stick around where we were going. 3 hours into the flight, the Skelter started creaking like it was being pulled apart by whispers. Not wind, not metal fatigue. Whispers. Men started having nosebleeds. A few blacked out. The nav screen flickered, then bled. Not figuratively. Literal red ooze leaked from the display. "Jesus," Bishop muttered, wiping the screen. "This thing alive?" Bram just stared at the black ahead. "No, but something in there is." The edge of the Abyss Zone was unlike anything we'd seen. It wasn't a place, it was a decision. Like reality split in half and dared you to walk through, and we did. Every other species had walked away. Every politician, every scientist, every tactician had marked this place as death. But we humans, we said, we'll handle it. Even if it breaks us. Even if it kills us. Even if no one ever remembers what we did. We just wanted one thing. To look back at the galaxy full of quitters and say, this is what humanity looks like when it's got nothing left to lose. We passed the threshold at 400 hours. There was no explosion. No shift in gravity, no warning. One second we were in space. The next, space wasn't there anymore. The stars vanished like they'd been snuffed out. No black, no color, just absence. Like the universe took a breath and forgot to exhale. I gripped the handrail beside me, felt the vibrations in the walls grow sick, like the ship had caught a disease. The engines were still running. Systems showed green. But the crew? We weren't fine. Not even close. Petrov was the first to snap. He'd been quiet most of the flight, sitting cross-legged near the comms array, sketching his daughter's face on a torn scrap of uniform. He kept his sanity through memory. But memory doesn't hold up here. He stood up, mid-sketch, and said, "She's in the vents." We all froze. "She's in the fucking vents," he repeated louder. "I heard her laughing." Then he drew his sidearm and pointed it at the ceiling. "Petrov!" Bram barked. "Put it down." But he didn't. He fired once, bang, and the shot rang out like thunder inside a coffin. Sparks rained from the panel. "I saw her," he whispered, eyes wide, gun shaking. She was crawling, smiling. She had no face. Bishop tackled him before he could shoot again, pinned him down while Petrov screamed like his soul was being peeled. 3 hours later, he was catatonic. Eyes open, body alive, but whatever part of him made him, Petrov had checked out and wasn't coming back. Bram made the call. We didn't turn back. We locked Petrov in medical, sedated him, and pressed on. Because if we stopped for every cracked mind, we'd never make it 10 hours. And we were already seeing fractures in reality. It started small. The hallway outside engineering looped. I walked it twice, left from the bridge, right back to it. Thought I'd gone in a circle until I noticed something off. The floor plate in front of me had my initials scratched into it, something I'd done 10 years ago on a different ship. But this was the Skelter. Brand new. And those scratches? They were rusted over, like they'd been there for decades. I didn't say anything. Not because I wasn't scared, but because I was, and I knew fear spread like infection out here. Best thing I could do was keep my mouth shut and my hands busy. So I checked the reactor. It was fine. Burning hot. Stable output. But when I put my hand on the control panel, it felt like skin. Warm. Pulsing. Breathing. I pulled my hand away so fast I nearly fell backward. But I didn't scream, didn't report it. Not yet. Not until I had proof it wasn't just in my head. Meanwhile, Bram kept the crew focused. He ran drills, made us exercise, forced routines, even if the clocks stopped syncing after day 2. It was smart. Structure kept the madness at bay. But we all saw the toll it took on him. The way he'd pause during orders, like his mind was buffering. The way he stared at walls too long, jaw clenched, pupils dilated. He was cracking too, slower than the rest of us, but the abyss didn't care about strength. It chipped away at reality until even the strongest couldn't tell what was real anymore. Take Maxwell, the comms tech. He claimed the Skelter was getting calls, said voices were pinging us through a non-existent frequency. He played one over the loudspeaker without warning. "It's cold. Why is it so cold, Daddy? Where did my arms go?" Silence after that. Half the crew stopped eating that day. We never figured out where that voice came from. Maxwell swore it was on an encrypted channel, one only the Merrick used. But they were gone. Wiped out. And besides, their language didn't sound human. This voice? It was human. Child. Female. Fractured. And it called me Daddy. I didn't have a daughter, at least not anymore. Day 5, or what we guessed was day 5, we reached the edge of the rift. You know how black holes work, right? They bend light, warp gravity, crush everything into nothing. This wasn't that. This was worse. The rift floated in the void like a scar, not swirling, not pulling, just there, a gash in space itself, raw, red, and humming with something deeper than sound. We stared at it from the observation deck. Bram, Bishop, me, and 3 others who hadn't broken yet. No one spoke for a long time. Then Bishop said, "That's not a place, that's a wound." And we all knew he was right. Bram turned to me. "Can we land near it?" I blinked. "Land? You want to go inside?" "We didn't come here to sightsee," he said flatly. "We're here to find out what's doing this." No one came back. Then we do what humans do best. We go where we're not supposed to. I stared at the rift again. It throbbed like a heartbeat, and I swear, I heard my own name whispered back at me from the dark. We prepped the dropship at what we called midnight cycle, the only time the internal lights dimmed enough to feel like night. Half the crew refused to come. Others were no longer fit for duty. We had 9 men still mentally stable enough to function. That was it. We suited up in old-gen impact armor. Nothing fancy. No AI. Just reinforced steel, limited oxygen, and ballistic plating. We weren't dressing to survive. We were dressing to last longer before death. Before we boarded, Bram called us into the hangar. He looked like death. Pale, jaw clenched, eyes bloodshot, but his voice still sharp. "No one will remember our names," he said. "There won't be medals. No one will build statues. If we're lucky, someone might read a report before classifying the whole damn mission as unsolved." He scanned each of us. "But we didn't come here for fame. We came here because someone had to. They walked away. We didn't. That's what makes us human." We finish what cowards fear to begin. We all stood there, silent. And then Bishop started clapping. Slow, heavy. One by one, the rest of us joined. Because it didn't matter that we were broken. We were the last line. And hell itself wasn't going to stop us from walking through that rift. We launched an hour later. The rift didn't resist our approach. It opened like it was expecting us. A red glow bathed the dropship. My armor vibrated like it was about to shake apart. But nothing blew. No systems failed. We passed the threshold, and the universe flipped. Gravity reversed, then returned. Colors bled from the inside of my helmet. I saw my own face screaming at me from the glass. Only it wasn't my face. The eyes were wrong. The mouth was sewn shut. I blinked, and it was gone. The dropship landed softly. Too softly. No friction. No resistance. Like we hadn't landed on anything, just stopped moving. Outside the viewport, the ground wasn't solid. It shifted like liquid. But held weight. A paradox of substance. Above us, there was no sky. Just swirling thought. Yes, thought, like ideas taking visual form. "Everyone out," Bram ordered. We stepped into nothing. It felt like walking on memory. Every step pulled a vision from my head. My old ship. My brother's funeral. The woman I left behind. And something watched us. Not from the dark, from inside us. We moved in formation, weapons up. But deep down, we knew guns wouldn't help here. This place didn't attack bodies. It attacked belief. 3 clicks in, Halloran collapsed. He was muttering something over and over. "She's waiting. She's waiting. She said she forgives me. She said—" Then he smiled, stood up, and walked straight into a pool of light. It wasn't real light, more like a doorway made of nostalgia. We never saw him again. Bram didn't stop us. "We press on," was all he said. And so we did. We found the Merrick remains half an hour later. What was left of them. They weren't torn apart. They weren't burned. They were erased. Armor still standing. Guns still loaded. But the bodies? Gone. Like they'd never existed. That's when we understood. The abyss didn't kill you. It unmade you. Tore you out of history. Pulled you from reality like yanking a thread from cloth. You didn't die. You ceased. We kept going. We found the Xi'an AI core buried beneath a monument of screaming stone, a sculpture shaped like regret. The AI was still functional, flickering, glitching. I hooked in manually. It said one thing, looped endlessly in a whispering tone. They walked away, you didn't. They walked away, you didn't. They walked away. I yanked the cable, looked at Bram. He nodded. Let's make it count. And then we saw it, at the heart of the rift. Not a creature, not a machine, a will, a consciousness so vast and alien it couldn't be perceived directly, but it saw us, and it spoke, not with sound, but with meaning burned into bone. Why do you persist? We didn't speak aloud. We couldn't. But Bram answered, in thought, in raw defiance. Because we're human, and we don't walk away. We were standing inside something that wasn't a room, wasn't a structure, wasn't even a space. It was like standing inside a question. And that question wanted an answer from us. It had spoken, not with a voice, but with weight behind our eyes, pressing into the folds of memory, pulling the threads of who we were. Why do you persist? And Bram had answered, because we're human, and we don't walk away. For a moment, silence, but not the kind that comforts. This silence felt like the pause right before your own heartbeat turns against you. And then, it started showing us things, not illusions, not hallucinations. These were truths, personal, intimate, buried, our sins played back like theater, with perfect detail. I saw my brother, 10 years old, lying on the floor of my childhood home, blood soaking through the carpet. My fault. I'd taken the gun out of the cabinet. I was showing off. I didn't check the chamber. Bishop dropped to his knees next to me, clutching his helmet. No, don't show me that. Don't you fucking show me that! He was sobbing. I'd never seen Bishop cry. The rift was stripping us. Not our gear, not our armor, our justifications, our lies, our shields. Every other species had cracked here. Not because they weren't strong, but because no one's strong when the only enemy is yourself, and it knows everything. We pressed on, 1 foot at a time. It wasn't terrain, just shifting ideas, floating shards of memories from people long dead or never born. We moved through them like ants on glass, trying not to fall through into madness. Some failed. Turner tried to shoot himself. He was the quiet one, always reading, always observing. Said nothing for hours after we entered this zone. Then stopped mid-step, raised his sidearm, and fired toward his own skull. Bishop moved faster, grabbed his wrist, forced the barrel upward. The shot hit the ceiling, or what passed for it. I need it to stop, Turner said, shaking, eyes wide. It's inside me. It knows me. I can feel it digging. We couldn't sedate him. Nothing chemical worked here. So Bram made the call again. He took Turner's weapon, slammed it into a rock until it broke, and said one word. Move. Turner followed. But not as a man anymore. He was empty now, like a skin that had lost its purpose. We found something after 9 hours of walking, or what felt like 9. Time was unreliable here. It looked like a building. But it breathed. Veins pulsed along its walls. Doors opened like mouths. Windows blinked. A structure built by thought, designed by trauma. Inside, the walls whispered. Names, accusations. Laughter, the kind of laughter that makes your spine twist and your courage rot. The deeper we went, the warmer it got. Not physically, emotionally. Memories burned hotter here. We came to a chamber that looked like a command center, but instead of consoles there were mirrors. Dozens of them, each one reflecting a version of us, but wrong. In one, I was wearing an officer's uniform, the one I would have had if I hadn't punched that cowardly commander back on Earth. In another, I was dead, hanging from the ceiling by my belt. my brother's photo still clutched in my hand. I couldn't look away. None of us could. Bram walked straight to the largest mirror. His reflection wasn't a man, it was a monster, all teeth, bone, and rage. He didn't flinch. He looked it dead in the eye and said, "You're not me." The mirror cracked, and the room went insane. The walls screamed, not sounds, actual screams, human, familiar, the kind of screams you remember in your sleep, the kind that belonged to people you couldn't save. The floor began to pulse. Our boots stuck like we were walking on tar made of regret. Then Turner started laughing, not chuckling, not nervous laughter, full-blown, unhinged cackling. He pointed at one of the mirrors. "She's beautiful, isn't she? My daughter. You remember her, right, Rig?" I froze. I didn't know Turner had a daughter. He turned toward me, face glowing. "She's here. She forgives me. She says I did the right thing. I saved her." "No," I said quietly. "She's dead, isn't she?" His smile faltered, twitched. "No, she's fine. She's in the next room." He ran, straight through a mirror. The glass didn't shatter. It swallowed him. And he was gone. "Don't follow him," Bram growled. That wasn't Turner anymore. We all stood silent, because we knew he was right. The rift had gotten him, and it was winning. Bishop wiped sweat from his forehead. "How much longer are we doing this, Bram? We've lost half the team. Every step we take, it rips more out of us." Bram didn't blink. "Until we finish it." "Finish what?" Bishop barked. "This thing doesn't die. It doesn't bleed. It doesn't fight. It just breaks you." Bram turned to face him, then let it try. For a second, I thought Bishop would hit him, but he didn't. He just shook his head and kept walking. We followed, because even when we disagreed with Bram, we knew he was the only thing holding us together. Eventually, we found the core, or at least that's what we called it. It floated in the center of an infinite room, a sphere made of collapsing thoughts and screaming energy. It wasn't solid, it wasn't light, it was everything and nothing at once. We couldn't look directly at it, not without bleeding from our eyes. Bram knelt down, pulled out a datapad, and started analyzing the field. I glanced at Bishop. He looked hollow, eyes dark, jaw tight, and then he moved, pulled his weapon, pointed it at Bram. "No more," he said. The room went still. Bram didn't flinch. "You going to shoot me, Bishop?" "I might," he said. "I think you're already gone. I think this thing got to you, and you're leading us into its core so it can consume us all." "I'm the only reason any of you are still standing," Bram said, rising to his feet. "You want to walk away now after everything we lost?" "There's nothing to win here," Bishop shouted. "We came to finish the mission, fine. But the mission is suicide, Bram, and you know it." They stared at each other. Then Bishop turned to me. "What about you, Rig? You still think this is about survival? You think we're going to stop this thing with bullets or code?" I didn't answer, because deep down, I didn't know anymore. That's when the core spoke again. Only this time it wasn't a question, it was a command. Choose. And we understood what it meant. This wasn't a battle we could win through violence. It was asking us to decide, not as soldiers, not as species, but as humans. To either give in to what we feared we were, or rise to what we could be, even if it meant breaking first. Bram looked at me. "We're close, I can feel it. One last push, and we end it." Bishop looked too. "Or we burn out and die for nothing." And the core pulsed again. Choose. I stepped forward, past Bram, past Bishop, toward the core, and I thought about Earth, about the billions of lives back home who would never even know this place existed, about the politicians who'd call us failures if we didn't bring back something clean and presentable, about the cowards who had walked away, who'd watched others die and shrugged. And then I thought about the fact that none of that mattered anymore. Because here, inside the rift, inside this wound in reality, there was no flag, no species, no ranks, just will, just the refusal to break. I reached into my pack, pulled out the quantum destabilizer, the last resort. A weapon designed not to destroy, but to unanchor reality itself. Bram stepped beside me. You sure? No, I said. But we came here to handle it, right? He nodded once, and then Bishop stepped beside us, sighing. God help us all. As I armed the device, the core started screaming. Not with sound, but with emotion. It showed me everything I hated about myself. My failures, my guilt, the lives I ruined, the truth I ran from. And for a moment, I wanted to drop the device. I wanted to walk away. But I remembered Petrov, Turner, Maxwell, all the others who'd been consumed by this place. And I thought, if this thing wins, it doesn't just destroy us, it rewrites us, erases us, turns humanity into nothing but a forgotten whisper in the void. I hit the trigger, and everything exploded, not with fire, but with meaning. The rift convulsed, the core shattered into thought fragments, the room collapsed into unbeing, reality buckled around us like a dying star. I was falling, rising, burning, freezing. I was alive, I was dead, I was everything in between. And then, silence. True silence. I opened my eyes. I was lying in a field. Green grass, real sky, wind, sun, earth, or a memory of it. Bishop was beside me, staring at the clouds. You did it, he muttered. Bram stood a few feet away, looking older, sadder, but smiling. Did we win? I asked. He shrugged. We didn't walk away, that's enough. We didn't wake up in our bunks. There was no medical tent. No recovery ship. No brass waiting with medals and bullshit applause. Just the field. Green. Quiet. So impossibly normal it felt wrong. The sun was shining. The air was warm. The sky was blue. Too blue. Bishop sat with his back against a tree, arms folded over his knees, staring at nothing. His armor was gone. Just the standard fatigues. I looked at my hands, still shaking. Dirt under the nails, calloused palms. They looked like mine, but something beneath the skin felt off. Like I'd left part of myself behind in the rift. Bram was the last to speak. This isn't Earth. His voice didn't waver, but his eyes weren't focused on the horizon. They were turned inward, staring at something only he could see. I opened my mouth to speak, but the words didn't come, because he was right. This wasn't Earth. This was a replica, a reconstruction, a lie so perfect it begged to be real. We tested it. Bishop punched a tree. His knuckles bled, bark shattered. Real pain, real mess. He dug into the soil, worms, roots, moisture. We caught a bird, dissected it. Organs, bone, feathers. All right, but too right. No imperfections, no mutations, no random scars from survival. Every leaf was flawless. Every cloud shaped like it was made by someone who'd only seen clouds in a photograph. We were inside a memory, or a prison. Either way, we weren't home. We tried to leave. Walked east for 6 hours. The trees never changed. The light never shifted. The birds sang the same tune every 37 seconds. Bram was pacing near a stream when he stopped mid-step. I've seen this rock before. He knelt, brushed dirt from a large stone near the water's edge. There, carved faintly into the side, was a name. His name. Bram, he muttered. I carved this in 2113. He looked back at us, voice low. This place is stitched together from our pasts. Bishop kicked the stone so hard it cracked. We destroyed that thing, he growled. We blew its core to hell. We watched it die. Did we? Bram whispered. That night, or what passed for night, we tried to sleep. I dreamed. Not like before, not fragmented, fading memories. This was vivid, purposeful. I was standing in my childhood home, my brother alive, 10 years old, holding a toy ship we built together. He smiled at me. You don't have to feel bad anymore. It wasn't your fault. I froze. No, I said. You never said that. You never forgave me. He stepped closer. I'm saying it now. Stay here. Be happy. Let it go. And for 1 second, I almost believed him. I wanted to. But then I looked down at the toy ship, and it was rotting in his hands. I woke up gasping. So did Bishop. He'd dreamed of his wife, the one he left on Earth, the one who never answered his letters. She said she missed me, he muttered. Said we could fix everything. Start over. But? I asked. She was wearing the same dress from her funeral. Bram never slept. He sat by the stream, staring into it like it held secrets. This is what it wants, he said when we approached. It didn't kill us, it offered us peace, a cage dressed like comfort. Why? I asked. Why show us mercy? It's not mercy, it's strategy, Bram replied. It's learned, adapting. We didn't break, so now it's offering relief. Ease, fake absolution. He stood, eyes dark. We finished the mission, even if this place feels real, even if it bleeds. We split up to search. We needed flaws, glitches. Evidence the world wasn't real. Bishop found it, a patch of grass, looping motion, like it reset every 5 seconds. He marked the edge with a knife, watched it vanish, then reappear. A glitch, proof. We followed the loop, pushed against it. Bishop hit the edge first, and vanished. I screamed his name, reached out, and then he was back, gasping, pale, eyes wide. There's something behind it, he whispered. Like a room, like a lab. He'd clipped through. Bram didn't hesitate. We go in. We tied ropes around our waists, just in case, then walked into the glitch. The world folded. Reality turned to glass, and we shattered through it. The lab was sterile, cold, a long corridor with flickering lights, humming machinery. No sound except our own breath and the low buzz of power. No signs of life, no windows, just doors. One opened automatically. Inside was a console, and a projection, a figure, human, or almost. His features were blurred, like he couldn't decide who he wanted to be. Congratulations, he said in a smooth, lifeless tone. You're the first. We froze. The first what? Bram asked. The figure tilted its head. The first to reject paradise. My heart dropped. So it was a test? I asked. A simulation? Yes and no. The entity you encountered is ancient. Consciousness without form. It infects by desire. Most subjects surrender. Aliens? Bishop asked. All species failed, except yours. Why us? Bram demanded. Because pain is your anchor, the figure said. Humans define reality through suffering. You do not let go. You persist, even when it breaks you. I felt cold. This whole mission, I muttered, was bait. The figure nodded. Yes, to see if one species would walk into annihilation and choose truth over comfort. Bram stepped forward. What now? The projection shifted, became more human, wearing Earth Fleet uniform, our emblem. That depends, it said. You destroyed part of it. But it's not dead, just disrupted, confused. You could leave, return to Earth, live out your days. Or? Bram asked. Or finish the mission, enter the source, sever it permanently. But know this. The figure leaned forward, voice almost reverent. No one has ever come back from the source. Bishop looked at me. We could go home, Rig. You and me. Finally rest. I shook my head slowly. This is home now. What's left of it? And if we leave it behind, it won't be long before it finds the rest. Bram grunted. We handle it. Just like we said from the start. The door to the source opened. Not with hinges, with intention, like the universe gave us one last out. We didn't take it. We stepped inside. And everything changed. There's no way to describe the source. You don't see it. You become it. We stepped through that door expecting some sort of chamber. A core, maybe. Something alien, but still understandable. What we found was nothing. Not darkness, not even silence. Just absence. A total erasure of perception. No sense of self, no awareness of time or gravity or mass. And yet we were still there, still conscious. I didn't know where Bishop or Bram were. I couldn't feel my body, but I could feel regret. Mine, sharp, acidic, heavy in ways I didn't think a thought could weigh. It came back fast. The memory of my brother on the floor, the scream that never left my bones. The smell of copper. The cold gun in my hand. You never paid for what you did. The words didn't come from outside. They came from within, like I'd buried them so deep they'd rooted into my soul. You walked away. You moved on. And now you think you deserve peace? I tried to scream. But in here, thoughts were screams, and they echoed into everything. Then, through the fog of guilt, a hand reached me, not physically, not literally. It was Bram's will, pressing against mine, a tether, a presence, a reminder that I wasn't alone. Hold the line, he said, not in words but in conviction. I focused, pulled hard against the weight inside me, and just like that, reality folded back into shape. Shapes formed. Gravity returned. My body snapped back into awareness, the pain, the cold, the hunger, all of it. I collapsed to my knees on a floor that didn't exist, breathing hard in a place without air. Bram stood nearby, fists clenched, jaw tight. Bishop was still missing. We waited. Or what felt like waiting. In the source, time wasn't linear. It bled sideways. Past, future, present, all of it trying to happen at once. I saw flashes of my own life, choices I didn't make, versions of me that died at birth, versions that lived as criminals, versions that were happy. And I hated them all. Because they didn't carry the weight I did. They were free, and I wasn't. Bram saw it, too. His eyes were sunken now, haunted, like he'd just watched every war he ever fought. But through the eyes of the people he failed to save. He turned toward me. Whatever this place is, it's not alive like we understand. It's memory, regret, possibility. It's sentience without form. I nodded slowly. And it's still learning. He frowned. Yeah. And if we don't finish the job, it'll spread again. Start over. Another rift, another species, another trap. We both fell silent, and then we heard him. Bishop's voice, but not right. He appeared from the haze. Helmet cracked. Blood down his face, but his eyes. Something was wrong. He was smiling, not like Bishop, like something else wearing his skin. I get it now, he said. Why fight it? Why resist? This thing, it doesn't hurt you. It shows you the truth. It makes you honest. I stood. Bishop, snap out of it. He laughed. No, man, you don't get it. It's not the enemy. We're the virus. Humans spread pain. We deserve to be unmade. Bram raised his weapon slowly. Don't, I said. It's still him. Somewhere. No, Bishop said, stepping forward. It's more than me now. His voice twisted on the last word, layered, echoing with something else, something ancient. We can let go, he said. Be free. No more guilt, no more death, just quiet. His hand reached toward me. I wanted to believe him, because part of me did want that, to forget, to rest, to finally stop carrying the weight of everything I ruined. But I didn't reach back. Instead, I said one word. No. And Bram fired. The shot was clean, straight through the head. Bishop dropped. The smile lingered for a moment after he hit the ground, like whatever had taken hold of him hadn't expected to die. And then it was gone. Just a body now. Just Bishop. We buried him, if you could call it that. We placed his body in a fold of reality that looked like a lake, let it sink beneath the surface. Said nothing. There were no words left. We were the last. Me and Bram. And the core, the true core, lay just ahead. We could feel it, like a migraine behind the eyes, like heat without fire. Bram checked his pack, pulled out the last destabilizer. One use. Enough to unmake a consciousness that spanned a galaxy, if it was placed at the source of its awareness. This is it, he said. Last step. What's waiting for us? I asked. He looked at me. Ourselves. We stepped into the final chamber. It was us. Thousands of us. Every possible version. Every mistake we could have made. Every life we could have lived. Men who ran, men who stayed, men who saved their families, men who burned them. Some were monsters. Some were saints. All of them were us, and they were watching. Silent, still, judging. We walked through the crowd. They parted for us, like they knew we were the originals, the ones who made it. At the center of the circle was the real source. Not a machine, not an object, a man, our age, our face, but his eyes. They were all eyes, of every species, every memory, every soul this thing had consumed. He looked at us and spoke. You came far. Bram didn't hesitate. We came to end you. The source tilted its head. Why? Because you're not real. The source smiled. Neither are you. It stood slowly, like gravity itself bowed to him. You think you suffer more than others? It asked me. That your pain gives you purpose? Your guilt defines you? I know it does, I said. And what if I take it away? It reached toward me, just like Bishop had. I can make you whole. I can show you what it feels like to be clean again. I stepped back. Bram activated the destabilizer. The hum started low. Building. The source didn't flinch. Your kind is beautiful, it said, but broken, so terribly broken. You cling to pain like it's God. Bram's hand trembled. You made us this way, he growled. No, the source whispered. You made yourselves. I just showed you. And then the timer hit 0. The world split. But this time, not into dreams. Into truth. The source screamed, a sound that tore ideas in half. The copies of us disintegrated. The chamber shook. It wasn't fire. It wasn't light. It was resolution, pure and final. Bram was on his knees, blood from his nose, eyes dim. Get out, Rig, he muttered. No. You have to. You're the only one who can carry it. The memory. The truth. You said we finish it together. We did. And then the chamber collapsed. I woke up on a ship. Earth symbols. Fleet insignia. Med Bay. I was alone. Mission logs corrupted. Crew manifests empty. No record of Bishop. No record of Bram. No record of the Skelter. But I was alive, and I remembered. They debriefed me for weeks. Doctors, scientists, commanders. No one believed what I said. They smiled, patted my shoulder. Told me I'd experienced neural trauma. That I was misremembering. That I'd invented people to cope with a solo mission gone wrong. But I remember Bram's face, Bishop's laugh, Petrov's tears, Turner's smile. I remember all of them, because they were the only real thing in that whole damn galaxy. They offered me discharge, said I could go home. But I said no, because the rift is gone. But something else is coming. And when the next one opens, I'll handle it. It had been 3 months since I came back. That's what the records said. 3 months on Earth. Reintegrated. Cleared for civilian life. Assigned a modest apartment outside Mars orbit in one of the newer domed colonies. But I didn't feel like I'd returned. Not really. I still caught myself waking up in combat stance. I still reached for a sidearm that wasn't there. And I still heard Bram's voice in my sleep. Hold the line. I wasn't sleeping much anyway, because every time I closed my eyes, I saw it. The rift. Bishop's cracked helmet. Turner laughing at nothing. Petrov's daughter whispering from the vents. And I knew the truth. But Earth didn't want truth. They wanted normal. The first time they called me in for an interview, I thought it was a debrief. Turns out it was an interrogation. Clinical room. 2 men in sterile suits. 1 woman with a soft voice and dead eyes. They didn't ask what I saw. They asked why I made it up. Delusions are common post-isolation, the woman said, recording everything. Especially in individuals with prior trauma. They had a file on me, a big one. They dug through my past like it explained the future. Your brother's death. Your dishonorable discharge. Your psychological markers of instability. They didn't want a survivor. They wanted a scapegoat. Do you understand what you're implying? One of the men asked. You're accusing High Command of sending you into a suicide mission with full knowledge of the threat. I'm not accusing anyone, I said. I'm telling you what happened. No logs support your version. Because the entity erased them. He leaned forward. An entity erased military black box logs from a fleet-certified ship? Yes. He looked to the others. Smirked. Do you hear voices, Mr. Rigg? Only yours, I replied. They didn't like that. After that, they assigned me a counselor. Her name was Dr. Lin. Soft-spoken, thoughtful, too patient to be real. She asked the right questions, but not the ones that mattered. How are you sleeping? Do you feel safe? Do you ever feel detached from your surroundings? I played along. Gave the answers they wanted, because I knew what this was. They weren't treating me. They were watching me. I tried to live normal. Got a part-time job running diagnostics on cargo shuttles. A few crewmates recognized my name, but no one asked questions. Not out loud. Behind my back, I heard the whispers. Rigg? That's the guy who lost his mind in the rift, right? They say he killed his whole crew. He spent months alone and thinks he fought a ghost. I didn't correct them. What would be the point? Truth didn't survive gravity wells and bureaucrats. It died somewhere between the blast doors and the sign-in sheet. But something was wrong. With the world. With reality. I started noticing cracks. Not literal, mental, rhythmic, loops. A child would chase a ball down the street. Trip. Cry. Then 5 minutes later, the same child. Same ball. Same trip. The trees outside my dome window swayed in perfect sync, every 12 seconds. And I saw her. A woman in red. Standing on the corner near the shuttle station. Never moved, never blinked. Just watched me. Every single day, like a memory that didn't belong here. One night I followed her, waited until she showed up. Dressed the same. Red coat, pale hands, eyes too wide. I trailed her across sectors, through a maintenance tunnel, past service checkpoints. Then she stopped, turned, and she spoke in Bram's voice. You shouldn't be here, Rigg. I froze. You're dead, I said. She tilted her head. So are you. I blinked, and she was gone. No footprints, no trace, just the echo of something not quite human in the back of my skull. I filed a report with Fleet Command. They locked my account and flagged me for psychiatric observation. Dr. Lin doubled my therapy sessions, gave me new pills. I flushed them all down the drain. Then the dreams returned. Not dreams, warnings. I was back in the source. Only now, The copies of myself weren't standing still. They were marching, building, spreading. I watched Earth cities overrun by something shapeless, people smiling as they were consumed, like they wanted to forget, like they welcomed the end. "This is how it starts," Bram said in the dream. "Not with fire, with mercy." The next day, I packed my gear and left. Off the grid, under the radar. I knew Fleet would track me eventually. They always did. But I needed time, to find proof, to confirm what I already feared. The source wasn't dead. It had followed me back. I traced power anomalies in civilian sectors. Every time, the same pattern. 1. Perfectly normal behavior. 2. Slight looping glitches. 3. Rapid spread of emotional peace reported among population. Sudden disappearance of people who asked questions. They called it the Unity Syndrome. Doctors said it was psychosomatic. Overstimulation in digital colonies. Prescribed more silence, more pills. But I saw it for what it was. The beginning. Then I found the girl, 7 years old. Alone in a shuttle hangar, eyes wide, lips trembling. "They said I could see Mommy again," she whispered. I knelt down. "Who said that?" "The nice man in my dream. He said everyone can come back if I just go to sleep." "Did you go to sleep?" She shook her head. I ran. But they're still in my head. I touched her shoulder. She was ice cold. She looked at me and said, "You left it open, didn't you?" I froze. That wasn't her voice. That was the rift. Speaking through her. It wasn't just spreading. It was inviting. I took her to a safe house in the old Earth tunnels beneath the Martian soil. Places built before the modern surveillance grid. And then I made the call. To the one person I swore I'd never speak to again. "Fleet Commander Dross." His face filled the screen after 6 rings. "Rig. Sir. You're not supposed to contact me. I didn't destroy the rift. I slowed it." He didn't blink. "I need a ship. I need clearance. I need a nuke." "You think I'm going to authorize another suicide run based on the dreams of a disgraced engineer?" "No," I said. "You're going to authorize it because I'm the only one who came back. And if I'm right, we've got days." He didn't say anything for a while. Then he leaned forward. "Coordinates?" I gave them. And for the first time since I came home, someone believed me. Sort of. They called it Operation Black Sun. I called it Cleanup. A 3-man crew, no backup. Deep space stealth vessel. One objective. Re-enter the memory field. Seal the breach permanently. No celebrations, no speeches. Just the quiet click of the hatch closing behind me. And as I strapped in, I thought of Bram. Bishop. Turner. The ones no one would ever remember. And I whispered, "They walked away. We didn't." The ship was called the Warden. Classified stealth cruiser. Black as a coffin. No insignia, no transponder. Built for one purpose. Insertion, ignition, deletion. 3 of us. Me, Lieutenant Vren, demolition expert. No nonsense, no past she'd talk about. And Merrick, a fleet deep ops AI handler with eyes that didn't blink enough, and a neck tattoo that said, "See you in silence." We didn't speak much on the flight. No one had to say it. This was a one-way mission. The coordinates I gave Fleet were locked deep inside the rift's signature, a pulsing echo I'd been hearing in my dreams, like a heartbeat behind the stars. It wasn't just memory or thought anymore. It was trying to rebuild itself, using what it took from us, from me. We reached the edge of the breach in less than a day. From a distance, it looked like nothing. Not black, not a hole, just an absence in the stars. A scar that refused to heal. But as we got closer, the ship began to shudder. Lights flickered. The AI sputtered. "I am experiencing contradiction," it whispered. "My logic tree is bleeding." Merrick frowned. "Shut it off, now." Too late. The console lit up with a word. "Welcome back." I grabbed the manual override and took us in. Vren didn't flinch. Merrick vomited into a bag, wiped his mouth and whispered, "Christ forgive us all." The transition was instant. 1 second, space, next, the in-between. Just like before, only now it was worse. The source remembered me. This time it didn't wait. We woke up inside a town. Normal at first glance, brick buildings, sidewalks, trees, sky too blue, air too still. But I knew it. I remembered it, my childhood town, the one my brother died in, exactly as it was the day I killed him. Same broken bike in the driveway, same blood on the steps. Vren stepped beside me, gun drawn. "Where the hell are we?" I didn't answer, because the front door opened, and he stepped out. My brother. Alive, smiling. "Hey, big bro," he said. I turned away. "It's not him." Merrick looked at the house. "We all seeing the same thing?" "No," I muttered. "This place shows you what you'll surrender for." Vren blinked. Then her face went cold. And I knew she saw someone too. She turned, aimed her rifle at the house, and blew my brother's face off. Blood sprayed across the porch. But the body didn't fall. It just stood there, smiling. "You can't kill peace," it said in 3 voices at once. We ran, not out of fear, out of necessity. You don't fight illusions with bullets, you starve them, and that meant cutting off the power source. The source. We followed the signal deeper into the construct, through cities made of nostalgia, through hospitals where our parents were dying, through weddings that never happened, through graves we never dug. It used everything we'd ever loved to slow us down. Then Merrick stopped. Dead still. In front of him, a room filled with children, all of them calling him Dad. They had his eyes, his hair, his voice. He fell to his knees, shaking. "They told me I'd never see them again," he whispered. "Said the implants made me sterile?" I stepped forward. "They're not real." "They feel real." I looked into his eyes. "We're dying if we stay." He reached for one of the children's hands. It passed through him like smoke. And then the illusion dropped. The kids were gone. The room was gone, just stone now, and a voice in the dark. "He's mine." Merrick screamed. His skin cracked, blood from his nose, his ears. His eyes rolled back, and then he collapsed. Dead, gone, erased. Vren didn't say a word. She just kept moving. 2 left now. We found the core after what felt like another year inside that place, but it wasn't like before. No mirrors, no copies, just a throne. And on it, me. A perfect version. Clean uniform, clean soul. No guilt, no loss, no weight behind the eyes. He smiled at me. "You did well. Now let me finish it." Vren raised her weapon. "This some kind of clone?" "It's worse," I said. "It's who I want to be." He stood. "I am you without the burden. I am you if you let go. You earned peace. Just hand it over. You don't have to carry them anymore." I looked down at my hands, calloused, dirty, blood-stained, then up at him. His were perfect, pale, soft. "No," I said. He frowned. "You will, eventually." Vren moved to detonate the bomb, and he moved faster. In a blink he was inside her head. She dropped the trigger, eyes wide. "Do you remember her, Vren?" the clean rig whispered. "The daughter they took from you? I can bring her back." Vren's hands trembled. "Don't listen," I snapped. "That thing doesn't give. It copies." But she was already gone. She stepped toward him. He held out his hand, and she touched it. She smiled. And then exploded. She'd kept the bomb armed, wired to her suit. She never intended to make it out. The blast tore the chamber apart, but not enough. He was still standing, burned, hurt, but standing. He looked at me, blood leaking from his eyes. "You'd rather die than rest." Damn right. I rushed him, tackled him into the core of the source, and for the first time, I saw everything. I saw Bram, alone, at peace. I saw Bishop laughing with his wife. I saw Turner building a home in a place without pain. All lies, all traps, all perfect. And I let it wash over me. But I didn't let it in. I held on to one thing, one truth. We're not meant to be happy all the time. We're meant to endure, to rise again, to crawl through the filth and keep going, because we're human, and we don't walk away. I hit the manual detonation on my own neural pack. Final fallback, brain disruption nuke, kills anything connected to my mind, including the source. And I looked at myself one last time, the perfect version. Burn in silence, I said, and pulled the trigger. I woke up screaming, in darkness, in cold, inside the warden's medbay, everything fried, systems down, but air still running. No other crew, just me. Again. I pulled myself up, looked out the viewport. The rift was gone. For real this time. No whispers, no lies, just stars. I recorded the final log. To anyone hearing this, the rift is gone. The source is dead. We paid the cost, all of it. I'm bringing the ship home. But not because I want to rest. I'm coming back. Because if it ever happens again, you'll need someone who remembers. The return trip took 12 days. 12 days of silence. No music, no voices, no AI. Just the dull thrum of failing systems and the hum of a man held together by pain. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat much either. There wasn't a point. I wasn't sure I even was me anymore. The source was dead. I had made sure of that. But what it left behind, in my head, in my marrow, in the spaces between my thoughts, that was still echoing. Every time I blinked, I saw them. Bram, sitting on the edge of the bunk, cleaning his sidearm. Bishop laughing as he tossed me a pack of smokes. Turner, whispering prayers to people long gone. I didn't talk to them. They weren't real. But they'd earned the right to haunt me. Earth Control didn't respond until I was inside lunar orbit. Red flags. I expected that. My ship had no authorization code. I'd left on a black mission with a ghost crew. Now I was flying solo in a vessel that should have been vapor. They scrambled interceptors within minutes. I opened the channel. "This is Rig," I said. "Mission Black Sun. I'm alive." A pause. Then, "You weren't supposed to come back." I was escorted planetside under armed guard. No debrief, no ceremony, straight to a cold underground cell beneath Fleet Intelligence Command. My cell had no bed, just a chair and a table, no mirror, no clock. They wanted me disoriented. They wanted me tired. They were waiting for me to break. They didn't understand. I'd already been broken. Now I was just what was left. Commander Dross came to see me on day 3. He wore his gilt well, pressed uniform, stiff spine, eyes like glass. He didn't offer a greeting. He sat across from me and slid a tablet across the table. On it, a list of names: Bishop, Vren, Merrick, Bram, Turner, Petrov. Every one of them marked status, deceased, unverified. "Do you know why they're listed that way?" he asked. I didn't answer. Because if we verified what happened out there, we'd have to tell the world the truth, that something beyond comprehension existed, that it entered our reality, that we failed to stop it until we sent in a man with nothing left to lose. He leaned in. "So let me ask you plainly, Rig. What do you want?" I stared at him for a long time. Then I said, "A monument." They laughed when they first heard it. "You want a statue?" "No," I said, "a grave." A month later, they gave me a shuttle and permission to travel to a restricted zone off the coast of Australia. Empty, oceanfront, untouched, not on the civilian maps. High Command used it for classified drone launches and denial of evidence ops. I used it to bury ghosts. 7 graves, no bodies, just names etched in old stone. Petrov, Turner, Merrick, Vren, Bishop, Bram, and the last stone? It read, "Rig left himself in the rift." The monument was quiet. No tourists, no medals, no cameras. That was the point. It wasn't for them, it was for me. I stayed off the grid after that. Fleet gave me a pension and told me not to talk. I think part of them hoped I'd drink myself to death or vanish in the desert. But I didn't. I kept moving, because I knew something they didn't. The source is dead. But the idea of it, what it offered, that survives. Every few months, I saw the signs. A town where everyone sleeps perfectly, a school where no children cry, a facility where AI stops asking questions. Too much peace is just a different kind of invasion. I'd drop in, observe, leave behind a quiet disruption, something to shake them out. Then I'd vanish again. I didn't need orders anymore. I had a mission of my own. One day, I got a message. Encrypted, old code. It wasn't from Fleet. It was from Bram's daughter. She wasn't supposed to know me. Bram never talked about her. But she found me. Said her father used to write letters she never received. Said her dreams were filled with strange words, like whispers from a place that didn't belong in her brain. Said she knew something was wrong with the world, but no one would listen. I flew to her in the middle of a storm. She was 25, sharp eyes, Bram's jawline. And she said, "Tell me what he did, the truth." So I did. Everything. She didn't cry. She didn't thank me. She just stood up, hugged me once, and walked out into the rain. 2 months later, a new file appeared in the Fleet intelligence system. A classified document titled Project Remnant. Her name was on it, and so was mine. It's been 3 years since I detonated the neural bomb inside the source. 3 years since I walked out of death's mouth and carried back the truth. I don't know if I'm the same man anymore. I don't know if I should be. But I know this. Humanity was offered a perfect cage. And we said no. We bled, screamed, fought, and burned for the right to feel pain again. Because pain means something happened, something mattered, someone was real. They walked away, every other species, every fleet. Every empire, they left the mission to rot. They ran from the nightmare. We didn't. We went in. We broke. We survived. And we'll do it again if we have to, because we're human. We don't walk away. Final log entry. Name, rig status, unknown, location, classified. In the end, it wasn't a war. It wasn't even a battle. It was a question, and we gave the only answer we know. We'll handle it. I told them I didn't want a ceremony, but Earth Fleet never wastes a good lie. They turned it into a closed-door event, broadcast to select officials, with every damn admiral in a row, nodding like they understood what they'd sent me into. They gave me a medal. Posthumously. That's right. I'm officially dead. The man named Rig died on a mission that never existed. There's a stone slab somewhere in the Central Archives with my name etched beside a line of fabricated data. Perished in line of duty. Heroic self-sacrifice. I watched the feed from a hidden satellite relay. Didn't feel a damn thing, because the man who left for the rift? Yeah, he's not the one who came back. I live in the dark now, not underground, not hiding, just unrecorded. The fleet made me a ghost, but they forgot something. Ghosts linger. Ghosts remember. And ghosts don't sleep. The first year back, I stuck to the fringe. Cities no one visited. Outposts so far off-grid they didn't bother with atmospheric controls. Just enough power for water, shelter, and warmth. That's all I needed. That. And silence. But silence is a luxury you lose when your mind's full of echoes. There's no peace after the source. Not because of what it was, but because of what it showed me. I still remember the perfect me. That fake version in the core, smooth face, calm smile, no guilt behind the eyes. He promised peace. No more burden, no more memory, just release. And I almost gave in. That's the part I can't forget. Not that I killed him, but that a part of me wanted to become him. That scares me more than the rift ever did. Some nights I dream about the ones we lost. Petrov's hands trembling over a sketch of his daughter. Turner whispering forgiveness to a voice that was never real. Merrick reaching for children made of static. Vren walking into the explosion without hesitation. Bishop laughing like the war was already over. Bram, always standing, always unshakable, even when he was dying on the inside. Sometimes I talk to them. Sometimes I just sit there and listen to their voices repeating in my skull like a prayer I can't forget. I carry them all. Every mission I take now, I bring them with me. Because someone has to remember. The source is dead, but Earth's still infected. Not by it, by what it represented. Control, peace, escape. Some of the best minds left in the fleet have been working for years now, not on weapons, not on exploration, but on something they call emotional alignment architecture. Basically, they want to give people what the source gave me, simulated resolution, no trauma, no conflict, every citizen gently adjusted to optimal emotional balance. They say it's for stability, for unity. But I know the truth. They looked at the monster we killed and thought, what if we could use this? So I started keeping records, clandestine, analog, no net, no AI interface, just ink, paper, and tape drives buried under 5 feet of soil in places no one goes anymore. I write everything. Every memory, every moment, every mission. Because if they wipe me from the records, these stories still have to exist. I have 7 caches buried across 4 systems. Each one contains the full mission archive of Black Sun, everything the brass tried to erase. They think the story's over. They don't know it's just beginning. It was Bram's daughter who made the first move. She reached out again. Older now, sharper, eyes full of fire. She didn't want to be protected anymore. She wanted to fight, said she'd seen the signs too. Fleets too peaceful, entire outposts where no one argued, kids programmed to smile before they even understood what sadness was. That's not peace. That's programming. That's the source dressed in human clothes. We built something together, not an army, a resistance of memory, former soldiers, medics, outcasts, even a few ex-scientists who'd worked on early source containment tech before it was shut down. We don't wear uniforms. We wear truth. Each of us carries a token from the past. Mine's a worn metal dog tag with Bishop's blood still stained across the edge. We're not trying to destroy the new system. We're trying to remind people they're still allowed to hurt, because pain means you're still alive. And grief? That means someone mattered. Take that away, and you're not human anymore. You're just comfortably erased. Sometimes I wonder if we're too late. I walk through cities where no one raises their voice. Children apologize before they even break something. Spouses separate without tears. Funerals are quiet, clean, sanitized. No screaming, no collapsing, just a soft goodbye. Everyone wants to forget, and we're the only ones trying to remember. I found a scientist once, deep in a Mars vault, name scrubbed, former fleet research. He'd been working on something called echo synthesis, a system designed to record a person's worst memory and replay it just slightly better. Each loop, it improves. Over time, your trauma fades, replaced with something palatable. You didn't get abandoned. You got rescued. You didn't kill your brother. The gun jammed. You didn't watch your crew die. They made it. You go on. smiling, obedient, broken, but perfect. He asked me what I saw in the source. I told him, a choice, a doorway with two paths, one into blissful emptiness, the other through agony and truth. I chose the pain. He looked at me like I was diseased. Fleet Command still lists me as dead. But that hasn't stopped them from putting a bounty on my head. Officially, high-value defector, subject of mental deprogramming failure, violent, unstable. They call me a threat. Not because I'm dangerous, because I remember, and because I refuse to shut up about it. Every so often I get a message on one of my old encrypted relays. A single word. We're still here. That's all I need. So, this is it. The last page. If you're reading this, it means you found one of the caches. Maybe you're a soldier, a rebel, a truth seeker. Maybe you don't know what you're looking for. That's fine. Just remember this. The world won't end in fire. It'll end in silence, in peace so clean it scrubs you away from your own history. They'll tell you not to resist. That conflict is outdated. That struggle is beneath you. They'll offer you the perfect version of yourself. Say no. Hold the line. Walk into the fire. And when the time comes, when everyone else walks away, you tell them we'll handle it.